All right. All right. So we are back. We are back with another episode of From Fracking to Financial Freedom. We're going to be talking about, yes, sir. We're going to be talking about the Fed. We're going to be talking about the Fed today. The Fed and how it affects us and how it affects our lives and why everything is so damn high. All right. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I know you've always heard the Fed and the term the Fed. It's not the federales. It stands for the Federal Reserve System. So we're going to talk about it today. All right. So we can understand what it is and how it affects our lives. All right. So I'm ready. Hit the like button. Hit the like button on the way in. Subscribe, and let's educate ourselves today. All right. Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Let's go. All right. So the Fed. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, let's jump right into it. So the Fed stands for the Federal Reserve System. Okay, so if you didn't, I never knew. I'm not going to even lie. I had no idea. I had no idea what the Fed was. I didn't know what the hell. When somebody said the Feds, I was like, "You talking about the Feds, like the alphabet boys? Like you finna, you know what I'm saying? Like you finna get your door kicked down or something?" Yeah. Yeah, I was just like, I had no idea what the Fed was. All right. So I had to understand, especially when we started investing and trading in the stock market, you better know what the Fed and the Federal Reserve System is. So, uh, y'all jump in. Let's learn about it. Jump in here with me, and we're gonna go through a couple of things, and just to understand what it is, we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna get out of here. I just want us to educate ourselves. Just educate ourselves. Educate ourselves on something, one thing a day. All right, so let's jump in it right here. It says, what is the Federal Reserve System? It's a network of regional banks. It's a network of regional banks that acts as the central bank of the United States. Okay, so the Fed is banks. They're over the banking systems, because the banks loan us most of our money, loan us most of, money for cars, money for businesses, money for everything. They're banks. They're banks. Okay. And so if you, it's, it's basically made, it's not really hard to understand. This is what they do. Okay, so it says, what is the Federal Reserve System? It says it arguably is the most influential financial institution in the world. It was founded to provide the country with safe, flexible, and stable monetary and financial system. The Fed has a board of 7 members. Okay, it's a board of 7 members and 12 Federal Reserve banks. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Each operating as a separate district with its own president, has its own president. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's basically what that's what the Fed is. Okay, so now what they do and how it affects us. This is where we come in. Okay, it says the Federal Reserve System, it mandate and duties. It says implementing the Fed. This is the duties. This is what they do. This is what they have to do. It says implementing national monetary policy by influencing monetary and credit conditions in the U.S. economy to ensure maximum employment, jobs, making sure that jobs are up. Everybody's getting hired, jobs are coming in, and people are not getting fired. People are not getting unemployed. Okay. Stable prices, cost of goods and services, everything that's costing, they set the interest rates and stuff on that. And last, cost of, where I think I got lost. Oh, yeah. The long term interest rates on everything. Like I said, when you go get a house, when you go get, like I said earlier, a house, a car, a credit card, uh, I mean, anything that involves you buying something and having to pay interest on it, they pretty much said it. That's the standard right now. Now, I mean, it's going to go by your credit and stuff like that. But that's like the benchmark. If you look up Google Fed, Fed, or you can Google National Federal Interest Rate. You know what I'm saying? You could Google that and it'll tell you. It'll tell you what it is. It'll tell you what it is. So let me see. They are over, like I said, they're over the banking system, U.S. banking and the financial system, and they help you. They're there to protect consumers. To protect consumers and make sure everybody has credit rights and things like that. So right here is the there's 7. Look at the chair members right here. There's Jerome Powell. If you're a trader, if you're in the stock market, you know who Jerome Powell is. Like I said, it shows right here that there's 7 board members or chair members or whatever you want to call it. Now, if you scroll on down, there's going to be 12. There's going to be 12 bank. There's going to be 12 members that are Fed regional bank presidents. Okay, so they're all over the country, So if you get down to here, what does they do? What it says, what does the Federal Reserve do? All right, again, like I said, it's designed to regulate banks, like I said earlier, and the financial institutions, and to maintain stability of the country's financial system. Okay, so that's what the Fed does. Okay, what power does if you look here next, what power does the president have over the Federal Reserve System? That's a good question. It says generally, the president influences the Fed through appointments only. The president nominates the Federal Reserve chair and the 7 members of the board of governors. The Senate confirms these appointments, and they cannot easily be removed. All right, so that's think about that. Think about it right there. So that's how the president. That's what Donald Trump can do and what he can't do. This is how he works with the Fed. It says what happened if the Fed didn't exist. Now, if we didn't have the Fed, this is what would be going on. All right, it says before the Fed Reserve existed, the Federal Reserve System was in chaos. Think about that. Without it, there would be no lenders of last resort and no governance over interest rates or our money supply. Whew. So, yeah, it would be bad. Yeah. If we didn't have the Fed, it would be, let them tell it. It would be bad. All right. It says, what would happen? Last one, it says, how does the Fed set the interest rates? Okay. So this is what I want y'all to see right here. It says, how do they set the interest rates that we all pay for? All right. It says Federal Reserve sets a rate range, using 3 figures to adjust its rate range. The rate for its overnight reverse repurchase agreement facility sets the floor for the rate range. The Fed's discount rate, or the rate it charges banks for overnight loans, sets the number for the range. Okay, so the Fed it uses its interest on reserve balances rate in conjunctions with on RREP to keep the effective federal funds rate in a target range. So basically, open market operations are used to keep enough money in the reserve so that the Fed rates employment. Okay, so basically, they make sure they check things like, if you watch CNBC, if you watch the news, you'll hear that every quarter they get statistics, they get data, they get info on the economy. They get data on things like it's called the PPI, Producers Price Index, meaning how are the stores, how's Walmart and Kroger and and Target, and how's everybody, the Producer Price Index, how are they doing? At the Consumer Price Index, they have the CPI, which comes out every quarter. They look at that and see how the economy is. So CPI is Consumer Price Index. They look at us. Consumer is us. Let's see if we're still spending. If we're still going to Walmart and people are still spending money. They look at data on that every 3 months. And they look at unemployment. They look at unemployment to see if more jobs have been offered in the last 3 months or less jobs been happening in last 3 months. They look at things like that, and if they see the economy, like inflation, that's another thing. They control basically inflation. So we all know what inflation is. If you that $20 that you got in your pocket, it does not buy you what it did 20 years ago. Okay, so it don't. That $20 that you got in your pocket, it don't buy you the same thing that it did 20 years ago. You know why? Because inflation, cost of goods and services are going up. These people are raising the prices. And guess what? The value of a dollar is going down. You know why? Because they print so much money. If I have $5 in my pocket and nobody else, very few people have a $5 bill, it's going to make my $5 bill more valuable. But if everybody on this block, if everybody on the planet has a $5 bill in their pocket, then that's going to make it inflated. It's not the value of it. It's not going to be as much because everybody has one. So I want you to understand what inflation is. Okay. So that's basically, that's it. That's what the Fed does. And you have to watch the Fed. Okay. You have to watch what they're doing. They just basically did an interest rate. They just did an interest rate cut. They just came down 25 basis points. So I think they brought it from 4.4%, 4.25%. I think they brought the national interest rate to like 4% or something like that. So they're cutting rates because jobs are kind of losing. It's a bunch of people that are unemployed. I mean, not a bunch of people, but unemployment was starting to tick up. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Unemployment was starting to tick up. People are losing their jobs. People are starting to lose their jobs. So that means the economy is slowly falling into a recession. And before that happens, the Fed has to come in and they have to cut interest rates. They have to cut things back and they have to say, okay. And then they'll usually do a stimulus check. They usually give everybody a stimulus check because they know we're going to spend it. And what that does is we get our stimulus check and that boosts the economy. That puts money right back in the economy, in the stores, and the economy starts coming back. That's why they give us money. So man, come on, man. Boy, I got to take a drink on that one. That was some good information. That was good information, man. So man, if you learned something, if you like that, I mean, if it helped, if there was something, if you learned something that you found out something that you didn't know, if you found out something that you didn't know, or you got some new information today, man, give your boy a subscribe to the channel. All right. This is your boy from Frac County Financial Freedom. We'll be back. We're gonna jump back on options and start talking about options. Okay. So we're gonna start learning back about options, how to make money and how to trade, and how to build financial freedom. All right. So this is your boy, man, from Frac County Financial Freedom. Your boy Lil Trey. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. I'll be back in a day or so. I'm out of here.